Howdy my peeps and welcome. Today I'm going to be doing some more OC-Tober prompts, but before we get into that, I would like to give a shout out to Paints and Markers, who is the comment of the week. Thank you so much for your comment. I really like reading all's comments, and if you'd like to be the comment of the week, all you have to do is comment under any video. That could have been you. I also have an Etsy shop where you get stickers and buttons, keychains, things like that, and a Patreon where you get early access to videos, sketch dumps, monthly wallpaper for your phone, and little things like that. But anyways, like I said, this is an OC-Tober video, even though it's not October, but I can do what I want. So I'm using this prompt list, which I found on Pinterest, but if the tag on it is accurate, it looks like it was posted on Instagram by someone named Bravest. So if you would like to check them out, you can. The prompt for this one is ships, and I decided to draw my characters Myrah and Shauntii because I ship them. Oh my goodness. For the longest time, whenever I would draw couples, I would usually draw my OCs Lences and Myrah, which they get their moments still here and there. But I just really wanted to draw something with these two. I had a sketch from my sketchbook, which you may have seen in my sketchbook tour that I posted not too long ago, where I showed the original sketch for this, and I was like, oh, I eventually finished this. Well, here it is. I really like this idea of characters wondering if they would have gotten along had they met earlier, so I drew the two of them when they were children, but it's like separate photos because they didn't know each other then, and then I drew them again at the bottom together. Wow. I use the motif of photos and photographs with my character Myrah quite a lot. One, because I feel like photography or just casually taking photos is something he would be into, but also to explore the idea of someone who is really into ruminating about the past and kind of stuck in the past in a way. So he's always reflecting on the past and things that happened, whether they be positive or negative experiences. It's something that I've shown in my artwork a few times as well. And it's something I would like to continue to explore because it is fun to draw something that's kind of like seen through the character's eyes, so to speak. It's also a neat way to draw scenes of the characters being kind of organic, especially for the last photo. In the first two, it's obvious it's like a more of a portrait type thing, so they've posed for it, whereas at the bottom it's more of a in the moment. There's a word for it, candid, I think that's the word, candid photo. So they didn't pose for it or anything, and it's really fun to draw those types of moments. In the last video, I mentioned that there was going to be a jump in the quality of the drawings because I was dealing with art block, but by the time I drew this one, I was kind of out of the art block and really in the zone. I'd like to mention that I didn't do these like one day at a time. I kind of just sat down and did them in batches, just based off how many I felt like doing at the time. But anyways, this is how that drawing turned out. I really like it. I think it's cute, and I had a lot of fun drawing it. The next prompt was most scarred, but I misread it and I thought it said most scared. So, oopsie. I thought I would still include the drawing. This is of my character Lences. Definitely the most scared character out of all of my OCs. He has his brave moments. He's working through a lot of things, and he's trying to overcome a lot of his fears. He's a very anxious character, which is why I chose him for most scared. I don't think he would be scared with small things. Like, he would definitely be into horror movies and stuff like that, but when it comes to like real life things, he maybe has a harder time coping with that sort of thing. My idea for the story, Lences' story, has changed a whole bunch. I came up with this character when I was in my early teens, so I definitely had to change a lot of things as I've gotten older. But one thing that's remained pretty much consistent is I wanted to have a focus on mental health. It's something that's really near and dear to me, so I would really like to write something that would be helpful for other people. Like I mentioned earlier, this character has gone through a lot of changes. In fact, he used to be a Star Wars OC, which I've mentioned a few times before on my channel. And it's just really interesting to see how much the character has changed, design-wise, personality, the story itself. Speaking of the story itself, I have taken a long hiatus from writing that, but I would like to get back to it at some point in the future. Just life has just gotten in the way of doing that, but I have a feeling this character story is going to change a lot more in the future. Once I realized that I had misread the prompt, I was like, well, I am going to have to do another drawing for the actual prompt. Most scarred. This is another OC whose story has changed a lot. He used to be Lences' dad, but I changed a bunch, decided I wanted to use the character for a different story. And oh my gosh, I can't remember the guy's name. I mentioned that in last week's video. First of all, I have too many OCs, and what I should do is just like make a Word doc or something where I like write everything down, because I don't have the best memory, because I don't remember this guy's name, because I made a completely different character to be Lences' dad, and so yeah, this guy's name just slipped through the cracks somewhere, so my bad. I feel like this character's name was Abdul. Like that's what I'm thinking that it was, but it was Abdul something, so I can't remember. He was not the protagonist of the story that I was writing. He was kind of a side character. I completely forgot about the entire storyline, which is crazy. But the protagonist from that story, I would like to revisit that character as well and draw some things with her. Her name was, I think, Kiana, I think? It's been a minute. I really need to write some stuff down. I cannot remember stuff. But anyways, this is how that drawing turned out. I feel like I could have done a little better, but whatever. The next prompt was for the funniest OC, and I chose Lens for that one. When I was coming up with ideas for this character, I was really inspired by Rick Riordan's books. I read Percy Jackson. My favorite one was Kane Chronicles. I don't hear enough people talking about Kane Chronicles. I was really into, and still am, let me be honest, still am really into Egyptology. I just really loved the book that was about the Egyptian gods and Egyptian mythology. The books that I read, there were characters that were very witty and had a lot of quips and things, and I just thought that was really fun. So while I was writing stuff for this character, I gave him a really sarcastic, mischievous kind of personality. I feel like I should change a few things, like I mentioned earlier, but even with those changes, I still think he would be the funniest of my OCs, and he would definitely be the type of person to check you and maybe go a little too far with it too, but that's how that drawing turned out. The next prompt was for the kindest OC, and I chose Myrah for that one because she is definitely the most giving, sweetest OC that I've come up with so far. I'm also really proud of how this drawing turned out. It's either my favorite or a very, very, very close second with the first drawing that I showed in this video. I put a lot of effort into this one. The quality is very different from the rest. It's closer to the quality of the first drawing that I showed in this video, but I definitely put a lot of more effort into it and made sure it was a lot more detailed, and I really took my time with it. I drew her with box braids because I realized I just don't draw box braids that often. I will draw locks occasionally, but I usually just draw curly hair. Hey, what can I say? I'm a simple gal. But I decided to give this character box braids. I think I mentioned this in the Etsy blog when I was designing a sticker for this character, that I wanted to give her box braids because it felt like something that her character would wear. I personally have never gotten box braids, but I feel like the girlies that get the box braids, they're really fashionable and on trend, so to speak. So I definitely feel like that would fit her character. Even though I did put a lot more effort into this drawing, I was still quite lazy when it came to drawing the individual braids. I kind of just draw squiggles whenever I draw braids. I do the same thing for locks, but with locks, I kind of finish the end of the lock a little differently, so you can kind of see it's kind of rounded. I also gave her some like little curly hair pieces in there. I don't know the name of these braids. Maybe there is no name. Maybe I'm remembering how they look incorrectly. But I do really like how this hairstyle looks on this character, and like I said earlier, it's definitely something that she would wear. I also gave her some funky earrings. The earrings don't really match her sense of style. Normally I draw like a big statement earring, like something that has like a funky shape, but I was scrolling on Pinterest and I saw these like bubble earrings, and I thought they were super cute, and I just felt like drawing them. So even if they didn't fit the character, I wanted to draw them anyway. Who's gonna stop me? I also was looking on Pinterest for some like trendy outfits and stuff. I do really like drawing outfits, but sometimes I need a little help because I am definitely not a dressy uppy kind of girly, so I need help. I also got a background from like an Adobe stock thing. I changed its colors just a little bit so it matched the drawing just a bit more, and this is how it turned out. I also used this as a Patreon wallpaper recently, which was fun. But anyways, on to the next one. The last prompt that I'll be using today was most brave or bravest, and we're gonna see the OC whose name I can kind of remember but not really. I'm just gonna call him Abdul since that's what I'm kind of remembering because it's easier, because that was a long name I just listed off, but he's definitely the bravest out of my OCs. The story that he's in was kind of like a dystopian type of thing because I was really into reading some of those dystopian novels from the 2010s. Really love The Hunger Games. That's my favorite. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I only read two. I only read The Hunger Games and the Divergent series. I think those are the only dystopian ones I've read. But I liked them. Well, I liked Hunger Games more. I liked Divergent a lot less. But I was like, it would be fun if I wrote a dystopian novel myself. Shelved it, obviously, since I can't remember anything. I was going to make it into a comic. I had an opportunity, this was some years ago, to have a comic published. It fell through, but I still have this story. Like, I have like the initial, like first few, like the first scene written out. This story is probably going to be shelved for a little bit longer. I feel like whenever I start writing with an end goal in mind, because I still write, I just don't have an end goal for what I'm writing currently, but whenever I do that, I would like to write Lences' story first. So Abdul here's, yeah, we're probably not going to see him again for a long while. Sorry, my dude. But anyways, this is how that turned out. I feel like I could have done some things differently, but I still need to work out what I want this character to look like and things, and obviously his name. But anyways, if you made it this far in the video, comment your favorite bird emoji. But anyways, shout out to my patrons: Merriment Illustrations, Sisadonna55, Kelsey, and a Spooky Rose. Thanks so much for being my patrons. I really appreciate you and everything that you do. Wow, oh my goodness. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come back next week for the next video.